Parkinson's disease is a progressive neurodegenerative disease, which means that there is a degeneration in part of the brain which progressively gets worse over time. Parkinson's disease is the second most prominent neurodegenerative disease behind Alzheimer's. Over 80,000 people in Australia are estimated to have the disease. 1 in 5 of these estimated to be people under the age of 50 years old. People with Parkinson's portray a variety of signs and symptoms. Not every single Parkinson's patient will possess all of these symptoms. However, the majority will show most of these at some stage. The first symptom is a tremor, which is where an individual's hand and fingers start to uncontrollably shake or shiver while at rest. The second symptom is called bradykinesia, which is where simple movements can take much longer to occur. Thirdly, people with Parkinson's often possess stiffness within their joints. And last of all, people with Parkinson's often possess balance problems. For example, struggling to stand in an upright position for an extensive period of time. Now that we have an understanding of the signs and symptoms of Parkinson's disease, we're going to dive deeper into the neurological side of it to better understand why these symptoms actually occur in the first place. First, we must understand dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that is responsible for communication between the brain and the nervous system. Dopamine plays a huge role in controlling movements that people make, along with many emotional responses. The emotional responses include pleasure, when there is an abundance of dopamine, or demotivation and depression, when there is a minimal amounts. People with Parkinson's disease, however, have low levels of dopamine present. This is due to the degeneration of both the substantia nigra and the striatum, being unable to produce their regular amounts of dopamine. One of the most unbelievable facts about Parkinson's disease is that the causes are mostly unknown. However, researchers have found about 10 to 15% of cases to be linked to a genetic family history. This is where a Parkinson's gene mutation is passed down to another family member. By having these mutated genes, it means an individual will be more likely to get Parkinson's in their later stages of life. However, it does not guarantee it. There are several risk factors for Parkinson's disease. The first being age. The disease becomes more prevalent with age, with the average onset of the disease being at 60 years old. Gender is another important risk factor for Parkinson's, as men are statistically 2 times more likely to get the disease. Environmental causes are also considered to be a risk factor. This includes being in contact with pesticides, heavy metal particles, and some detergents. And lastly, regular head trauma in the form of concussions are thought to play a role in the onset of Parkinson's disease. The current treatment available for Parkinson's disease is either medication or surgery. It is important to remember that these treatments do not cure Parkinson's. They instead attempt to minimize the symptoms of Parkinson's, for example, tremors. The most common form of medication is called levodopa. This medication is in the category of the decarboxylase inhibitors. This means that the levodopa will travel around the body and only start to break down once it enters the brain. This is important as the levodopa is converted into dopamine to replace the low amounts produced for someone who has Parkinson's disease. As you can see in the diagram, the person on the left has a low abundance of dopamine present as they have Parkinson's disease. However, on the right, levodopa has been taken. You can see how there is an abundance of dopamine at the synaptic cleft, which can then be used to communicate from neuron to neuron. Levodopa works very well for many people with Parkinson's disease. However, for some individuals, the levodopa will not adequately control their motor symptoms. The next step of treatment is called deep brain stimulation. This is a surgery where an impulse generator battery is inserted under the clavicle and helps send signals to the brain, which then regulates any abnormal activity in the brain, leading to better movement symptoms. In early February this year, clinical trials have started for a new stem cell treatment which aims to restore lost neurons in the brain. This could be a huge breakthrough as stem cells can potentially grow and multiply into neuronal cells, which could repair the damaged parts of the brain. Researchers have also uncovered that mutations in the LRRK2 gene are the cause of the genetically passed down side of the Parkinson's disease. They are still trying to create something to alter this mutation, and hopefully in the future we will see a solution. In conclusion, Parkinson's disease is so important to learn about. as we still only know such little about it today. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something new today.